Can you believe it? Can you believe it, everyone? You thought I was gone and now I'm back. Wow. Okay, I'm going to change that title. Okay. Okay. All right. There we go. So, here's what I was thinking while I was doing the sponsored segment. I was thinking about what I want to watch, and because this is kind of a weird day, it's not how I normally do things. I think we're going to watch we're going to watch something that technically we've already watched before. And I decided, because it's October and because we only have, it's supposed to be horror movies all month long. So I want to stay on theme. And we are going to watch, I love how many of you already know. No, we literally just watched The Faculty. We're not gonna watch The Faculty again. We just watched it. We are gonna watch Jennifer's Body. One of my faves of all time. Technically, we watched Jennifer's Body, but it was like 2 years ago. And it doesn't matter because it's a movie that I will watch over and over and over again. And I think you should as well. So also, the other thing is, not everybody saw Jennifer's Body when I did it the first time, because that was 2 years ago, and we've got new community members. So for some of you, you probably have never seen it, even if you've been in this community for a while. And if you saw it last time, that's okay. You can watch it again. Woo! I'm so old. I saw this shit in theaters. I also watched this. No, did I? I can't remember the first time I saw it. This is one of my films that my friends and I in high school watched all the time. It was like Jennifer's Body, Jawbreaker, Rent, Teeth, just these great horror teenage drama classics, cult classics that we watched over and over again. We're still doing movie night. Yes. So I just kind of changed things around because I had sponsored segment. So I was like, I'm going to do sponsored first. And now we'll just have a cozy film night to end the stream. So I'm going to start off by pulling up our movie rolls so we can go get situated. Nope, that's not what I want. Video killed the radio star. What? Oh, there we go. Yep. Oop, boop, 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 boop. Okay, I'm gonna take that off. Great. Okay, so you can go get your snackies. You can go get a blanket. You can go get cozy. Here's our movie rolls. We'll start off with that.
Don't forget to get something to eat. Delicious meat and nutritious meat.
You can't beat my meat for a special treat. Sucking on me is really neat.
Don't be a jerk and don't be a fool. Be a good neighbor and follow these rules. What are these rules? Remember to keep your shoes on at all times. Don't pull your penis out unless you really need to. Indecent exposure is a class 2 felony.
Is this movie safe for workish? Yeah. Yeah. All right, everybody. So, hold on one second. Let me fix a couple things. Okay, so this is Jennifer's Body from 2009. It's a film directed by Karine Kusama, who also did The Invitation, which I think we watched on this stream, and Flux, Girl Fight, Destroyer XX. This is my favorite film of hers. It's written by Diablo Cody. So she has her very quirky, specialized style of writing dialogue. And it stars Megan Fox and Amanda Seyfried. And when this film came out, and I'm probably not going to talk about this as much as I did last time, also because I'm just, want to be cozy. But when this film came out, this was in like the height of Megan Fox hot girl fame, because she had done Transformers. And the way this film was marketed, it was marketed towards young men, where it's like, ooh, you like Megan Fox, right? Well, you're going to love Megan Fox and Jennifer's Body. And they just it was the wrong audience. It was the wrong audience. And people saw the film and were like, a lot of who it was targeted towards saw this movie and went, what the hell? The Snark, thank you for the 5. Give it 5 gifted subs. Michael Mack, thank you for the 4 months. Corporate AF, thank you for the 10 months. Red Viper, thank you for the 10 months. Cougar, thank you for the 17 months. So people saw it and went, what the hell is this movie? But for those of us that got it, we ride or die for this film. This movie is for queer women. I mean, this movie is just, in my opinion, I think my favorite film of Megan Fox's. And this is the type of stuff that like she wanted to get into roles and doing work like this. And I think she wanted to move away from just being like, I'm a hot girl in a big studio movie. And anyway, so the reception to it was really demoralizing. And then I think shortly after this is when she started having kids with her ex, Brian Thomas Green or whatever his name is, and then kind of disappeared for a while. And then she entered her MGK era, started doing movies again. But yeah, Megan is a camp actor. Like this film has so much camp. It's hilarious, but it's also like meaningful as well. And it's so queer coded. I mean, it's not even queer coded. Like this is a queer film for sure. And I think it's awesome. I just think it's such an awesome film, and it did not get the love and appreciation it deserved at the time. And I think had it been marketed not in the way that it was marketed, or maybe a film that I think it was ahead of its time, like it just came out in the wrong era, I think it would have gotten more love. But since it first came out, since 2009, it has amassed a die-hard cult following and is one of those movies that years after it came out, you would see all the think pieces like, is it finally time to talk about how Jennifer's Body is a great film? Or like Jennifer's Body never got the love that it deserved. So anyway, forged friendship. No, the necklace was like also they have like a telepathic connection even before Jennifer becomes a demon. Like when Jennifer comes to pick her up and she senses she's there and Chip's like, whoa, that's weird. Anyway, yeah, it's symbolic. It's symbolic for their whole relationship. I don't get how this flopped. Okay, so I will explain again, because when this film was, so Karine Kusama, who directed it, and Diablo Cody, they were very clear in what this film was going to be and who this film was for. But it was the studio who marketed it. And if you remember, there was a picture of Jennifer and it said hell yes on the chalkboard, and she's sitting there in like a sexy little school outfit. She's got her legs. Like, I remember that poster. And then the kiss scene was a scene that the studio really zeroed in on. They're like, oh yeah, this is going to get the 18 to 27-year-olds to the theater. And at the time, Megan Fox was in peak a hot girl Megan Fox era, and she was just seen by the industry as a way to sell sex. And also because she was so objectified, she was not taken seriously as an actress. The response to this film was especially cruel towards her. It was almost like critics didn't give this film a chance at all, because there was just a lot of bias against Diablo Cody, because people were like, Juno was just, there was starting to be some like backlash to Juno of like the dialogue being schlocky, of like, oh, she thinks she's so cute and precious with her dialogue. She's just a one-hit wonder. So there was like definitely misogyny towards both Diablo Cody and then Megan Fox, who they're like, oh, Megan Fox is just a hot girl. Like, no wonder this movie was a disaster. And so they marketed the film. Diablo and Karine and Megan and everyone who was actually involved in the film, they really wanted women, like young women and just all women, to go see this film. And a lot of women still saw it. I think like 50-something% of the ticket buyers were women, but it just, not enough women, I think, knew about this. Like, this was a film where teenage girls would have driven the success of this movie. And I remember being a teenager watching this for the first time, and I remember thinking like, oh, isn't this film just like a sex fantasy for boys. Like, I'm not interested in it at all. And then my girlfriends and I we just put it on one night, having a sleepover. We always sleep in your bed when we're having slumber parties. We were having a sleepover, put on the film, and I was like, this is not what I thought at all. This is not what I thought this movie was going to be whatsoever. The studio marketing was so bad at its obviousness and its way. It was trying to aim the film towards horny dudes. And it just was not good in that way. Everyone was poorly perceived in the way they tried to make this film well. Yeah. And so that is why the film was such a commercial disaster. And then critically, because, you know, this was still the early 2000s. Critics very much viewed films like this as meant for young men. And so rather than look at this film on its own merits and consider like, oh, okay, this was marketed for men, but actually this is a film that I think is really appealing for women, and choosing to watch the film with that understanding, they just rejected it. And one of the comments that I think should tell you really where the critics were at was, of course, Roger Ebert. And he's like, this is Twilight, but for girls, except, or no, what did he say? It was like, this is Twilight. Hold on, let me find his. Twilight for boys. Sorry. He said, this is Twilight for boys. No, not for girls. It should have been Twilight for girls. This is Twilight for boys, which is not a fair comparison whatsoever. It's just it's so dismissive and not understanding, not giving this film a chance at all. Like Twilight was for the girls. This was never, ever going to be Twilight for the boys. This is a film about a demonic girl who's ripping apart boys, consuming boys. Like, that is not some male fantasy in the way that like a hot emo vampire is a long standing trope. Like sexy vampire, you know, it's like, oh, the dream, the fantasy that like a cute, gorgeous vampire man falls in love with you. So just to give you an idea of how critics just never gave this film a chance. And it always makes me sad because Megan Fox has talked about just how the industry viewed her as a piece of meat. And she, I think it was after Jennifer's Body came out, she said in an interview, she's given a lot of interviews where she's talked about it, but she said in an interview about how she just really loved the script and how she was tired of being seen as just an object, and how the constant discourse around Megan Fox is just a sex symbol had gotten to her, and how she just wasn't treated as a human being and wasn't taken seriously. And I just feel really sad because this was supposed to be a vehicle for her. You know, this was directed and written by women. This was a film that you can absolutely consider too. I mean, this came before the Me Too movement, but post Me Too movement, you see the pain and the just how it deals with like male violence against women and that trauma and just all these things that I think Megan Fox has been such a victim of. And this was an opportunity for her to do something different and to, I think, almost kind of have her own, it like almost to give her a voice as well. And then the way that this was just ripped apart and endlessly crucified. And as I said, I think it was shortly after Jennifer's Body era that she just kind of disappeared for a minute, had kids, was just being a mom. Was she disillusioned by the poor box office returns? Were people pissed that she kind of pivoted? I mean, they were really cruel about her. So I think it was the fact that it was a commercial failure like a flop. It was a commercial flop. The critics were pretty universally ruthless towards this film. Didn't understand it at all. Basically talked about Megan Fox like just in a very clearly biased way against her, like, oh, that she was never going to be able to, you know, Megan Fox, what is she doing? What is she doing in trying to do movies like this? Anywho, and she has talked about specifically the scene where she is being murdered by Low Shoulder and how that scene felt reflective of her body being sacrificed to male directors in movie studios at the time. And she's like, they were just willing. That's what they were doing to me, that they were just bleeding me dry. They didn't care about my health. They didn't care about me physically, like emotionally, my well-being. As long as they got what they wanted from me, then that was it. And the way that she was exploited and how her body was exploited for male viewers, for profits, and how nobody was listening to her, you know, what she would express about her own, you know, what she wanted and what she was interested in actually doing as a performer. And I just wonder too, like, had Jennifer's Body been a success at the time, what that would have done for Megan Fox's career and sense of self. And I don't know. I mean, in the years since Jennifer's Body, because this film is 16 years old at this point, in the years since, and also post Me Too, as it's been re-examined and finally gotten its flowers, I do hope that she knows that there absolutely was the audience for this. We just weren't the ones that this film was marketed towards. And that since the film has come out, it has generated a very, very diehard cult following, and that a lot of people really appreciate and love this movie. And Diablo Cody said one of the things that makes her the happiest is when people come up to her and say how much they love Jennifer's Body and how much it means to them. I find it interesting this movie doesn't take too much effort to paint the victims as deserving. Well, okay, so there's a lot going on in this film, and I think first and foremost, it's about so the main relationship, the most important relationship, is Jennifer and Needy. And Karine and Diablo talked about how they wanted to make a film that got into the complexities of female friendships, especially teenage female friendships. The horror horror has always been a vehicle for examining femininity, like, to, you know, being a woman in this world, and how there's a lot of fear of the female, and that just with all the just all the turmoil that young women go through. A lot of slasher films, you know, with the final girl often being like a teenage girl, and they're just being they're just being a lot of just horror really being a metaphor for the female experience often, and that there's a lot of just there's just a lot of examining what it means to exist as a woman in this world where people treat female sexuality and people treat female maturation as like this horrible, terrible thing, right? It's like, oh, just all the shame around getting your period and just all the then expectations for women and the way that they are preyed upon and all that stuff. So they wanted to make a film that that got into that got into that got into kind of the wait, I can't remember where I saw this quote one time, but it was like, every gay girl has always had like a weird friendship when they're growing up. And so I think the kind of repressed sexuality, I think the repressed sexuality, like obviously this film is so queer coded. I go both ways. I Thought You Only Ate Boys. The relationship between Jennifer and Needy as this like strange, but also familiar as well. And there's definitely the power dynamic, and there's a lot of things where even if you're straight, even if you're a teenage girl who's not queer, there's still a lot in their relationship that I think resonates. And I did not have a sister, so I was always confused on what was normal for girls that are friends. Yeah, and I think it's really confusing. Like, I think female friendships when you're that age are very confusing, whether or not you're gay. When you are gay, or when you're just discovering that you're queer, it adds that extra level of what the hell's going on. Like when Needy goes, "What the fuck?" when she and Jennifer are making out, she's like, "What the fuck is happening?" Which I think is not just in relation to the fact that Jennifer has told her that she's seen Jennifer like do really crazy evil things, but because suddenly she finds herself making out with her best friend. I didn't even realize I was queer because I just assumed it was the normal shit everyone felt. Can you elaborate on what it was that Megan Fox was unhappy about? In the movie, or what I was talking about with like how the studio system just exploited her and how she was so objectified and not taken seriously and not treated as a human being. And so when she read the script for Jennifer's Body, she just fell in love with it and was like, this is the type of film that I've been wanting to do. For people saying some of the men didn't deserve, yeah, true, but in a lot of horror films, women get killed willy-nilly without deserving it either. Well, I think the other thing, too, is a lot of the men that Jennifer ends up consuming, I think the purpose, like the point there is that these guys want to go have sex with her. They don't care. Like, they don't know anything about her personality. It's not a like trying to get to know her. It's just they see her for her body. I mean, the film is called Jennifer's Body, which is why it feels so meta that it's Megan Fox. And that's why I've always felt sad about it, because I think it was a really personal film for her. Jennifer's Body, but also Megan Fox's body. And even Chip, I mean, the fact that Chip is like hates Jennifer and is always talking about how she's evil, and then Needy tries to tell him that he's evil. I'm not saying Chip like deserved it, but I'm just saying I think the commentary there was just kind of the willingness of men to go along and just wanting Jennifer's body, right? Like everybody just wants Jennifer's body. And then Jennifer turns around and is like, well, now I'm going to literally eat your body. She doesn't have jealousy for people who Needy likes or Needy because she wanted. Yes. And then there's that element too, where Jennifer. So I think you can read it a couple ways. Some people think that Needy is in love with Jennifer, and Jennifer exploits having a friend who she can make her do anything. She can control her. She can manipulate her. Other people read it as Jennifer's in love with Needy, and Needy is just in awe of her. She's everything that she wants to be. And then other people read it as like they're both queer, that they're both there's a part of them that's in love with the other, and Needy's just hella confused. Yeah. And so I think that confusion and kind of that push and pull and those dynamics between the two, I think that's all. I think it's all there. It's all there. Could be a little bit in a way. I go both ways. They go both ways. Do you think the poor reception of Jennifer's Body was the main reason Diablo Cody seemingly didn't have a more prolific career? Yes, I do. I do think this hurt her. I think this hurt Megan Fox. Diablo, and again, there was already the assumption that Juno was a one-hit wonder, and that Diablo Cody's actually, she doesn't have it, and she's not as great as everybody says she is. I mean, she won the Oscar for writing Juno, and so she came onto the scene and was like this huge success. And then there was a backlash towards her because of that. And then people were like, actually, I think Diablo Cody has been fooling us all. And then Jennifer's Body comes along and people used that as like evidence that Diablo Cody, they're like, see, we told you that she was just a one hit wonder and that was just a fluke. And actually she just sucks. There's a whole graphic novel tie-in that gives a short extended backstory for each of these men that were killed. We see their own traumas and struggles that lead up to them being eaten by Jennifer. It's actually somewhat weak, even tying into some of the things Chip went through during the events with Nene outside of what's shown. I think, yeah, I mean, I don't think, look, this film is a revenge fantasy. This film is not a sex fantasy in the way that it was marketed and the way that people thought it would be. It is a revenge fantasy, if there's any type of fantasy here, but it's really, I think it's complicated with Jennifer, and with Needy, it's more clear cut where like she gets revenge on Low Shoulder. As soon as she's got her demon powers and she breaks out of the institution that she's in and she goes after Low Shoulder and makes them pay for what they did to Jennifer. But I think with Jennifer, her revenge, it's more complicated. And I think one of the most heartbreaking scenes in the film for me is when Jennifer is sitting there like smearing makeup across her face. And as I said in the beginning of the film, when she's flirting with Low Shoulder, it's like Jennifer's just a girl. She may act all confident and she may act like she's older than she is, but she's a teenage girl. And you see her with these, adult men, these cool guys, and she's trying to flirt with them and come across as like older than she is. She's like, can I get you a drink? And she's awkward and she just seems really young in that moment because she is really young. But the way that like clearly I see her as I think as a lot of women can relate to her in that Jennifer uses her body. She uses sex as a way to feel like she has power. And there's the line where she says to Needy, like, these men think they have power, but we have all the power. And she's like, you're right here. You can just direct them. And I think it's commentary on the fact that that's really not power in the way that Jennifer pretends it to be, but because she tries to derive power from it, she convinces herself and she, tries to convince Needy too that it's a false sense of control. But she's a teenage girl, and ultimately she's extremely, extremely violently abused by these guys. They sacrifice her. Like it's definitely that part of that crux of the film, because the question leading up to the reveal when Jennifer sits on the bed is what happened to Jennifer. What happened when she got in that van, and the final shot before the van drives away is Needy looking at Jennifer and Jennifer looking at her, and there being this just very foreboding sense of something bad is going to happen. And so the question is, what happened to Jennifer? And so this film being looked at differently post Me Too, I think obviously makes sense because the implications of that storyline, the question of what happened to Jennifer is very familiar, and how Jennifer will never, it's like she has to keep feeding. She has to keep, she's trying to, it's still a continuation of her false sense of control in like, oh, I eat these boys and I feel beautiful. But then that starts to go away and she's left just really, really damaged and clearly traumatized, and just what that did to her, what that did to her mind, body, and soul. And how I think that's why like kind of the revenge aspect for Jennifer is more complicated, because I don't know if she ever, it's basically like no amount of consuming the boys that she goes to school with is going to fix the horrible thing that happened to her. Jennifer thinks her power can only exist within this narrow form, her sexuality and sex appeal. Yeah, and how she, with each of those men, she just is like, come here, like just offers them her body. And they're like, yeah, great. Awesome. And then she rips them apart. I understand the ending now where Needy has the power Jennifer wanted, but without the need to eat people. Yes. And Jennifer's also full demon, and she doesn't have, I think, free will in the way that Needy has at the end, because Needy is still a human. She just has certain demon traits, and that's why she's more, she's more focused and has her sights set on like who she's going after to get revenge for Jennifer and for the town, and just fuck those guys up. What's wild is that the more snobbish critics like Ebert, Travers, and A.O. Scott like the movie, but every other outlet hate it. Well, I think Roger Ebert liked it more than other critics, but he was still dismissive of it. They still like, he's still with the Twilight for Boys line. Clearly didn't understand what this movie was supposed to be and who it was for. And from Needy's gaze, this consumption process looks beneficial on the surface at first. Glowing skin, hair, etc. And the brilliance is how that fictitious power gets deconstructed before her eyes. Yeah, so this film, look, it is fun. It is campy. Diablo Cody says that she wanted to make a slasher type film that drew from the genre, but also subverted things and also felt fresh. And that it was, she wanted to make a fun popcorn film, but also with some weight to it. And I think because of her teaming up with Kusama and I just think this film is great because I do think it's fun, but I also think that it has, I think it has like emotional weight to it. I think it gets into subject material that is real, and that that I think is something a lot of women felt seen in, felt, it was relatable, felt like it was like it was like cathartic in ways because of what it offers up in response to the trauma that was of what happened to Jennifer. If the movie came out today, it would have been more celebrated. Yes, I do think if the movie came out post 2016 in particular, I think it would have been a different story. I didn't know it was directed and written by women until recently, but it makes so much sense. You can tell because if a dude directed that movie, would have been a different movie. It would have been a different film. It would have been a sex fantasy. It would have been, here's sexy Megan Fox. Here's sexy Megan Fox. Ooh, this scene of these girls making out is purely for the male gaze, for young men to be like, oh, that's so hot. Like, that's exactly what I'm here for. Why didn't Jennifer go after the low shoulder guys and get revenge? Well, as I said, I think it's just more complicated for her. She's also a full demon, so she's just feeding. She's just feeding on anyone who looks her way, pretty much, who she feels like, oh, I'll just offer up sex and reel them in. She's a teenager. There's also still, like, Jennifer is a teenager and her relationship with Needy and how she goes for Colin because Needy likes Colin. Needy's like, oh, I think Colin's cool. And she's like, okay. She goes for Chip because of Needy. So there's that element of it as well. Is there any inspiration here from Let the Right One In? Oh, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, this film, I think, I'm sure that it has had an influence on other female horror directors. I mean, it's had a huge influence on pop culture, like lots of songs about Jennifer's body, people just dressing up as Jennifer, it really reaching icon status. I read it as she probably was afraid that if she killed them, maybe the spell ends and she dies, but also an allegory for how victims are afraid to face their abusers. Yeah, I think you can totally read it as Jennifer is deeply traumatized and doesn't know how to direct, doesn't know where to direct that pain and how to heal in any way from what happened to her. I think it's interesting how the kisses they have with men are fine. They're not bad, but there's this focus on their kiss together. The tension of it is built much more. It's visceral. Yeah. I think Needy basically settles with Chip because Chip is nice and Chip likes her. And I think he's the safer choice. She feels like he's the healthier choice. It's like, Chip is fine, you know? Chip is fine. But that her connection to Jennifer is really the real relationship in the film. And that's why I'm like, look, I don't think you have to be a queer woman to relate to parts of Jennifer and Needy's relationship. I think there is something with a lot of women, myself included, have expressed that their connections to women, friendships, relationships with women are usually much deeper. It's a different type of connection than with men. And so the kiss was the kiss was supposed to be a very profound moment in the film, and Corinne and Diablo knew people were going to sensationalize it. And they're like, yeah, I mean, I think the sexual energy between these girls is authentic. And I think it's supposed to speak to like their relationship being very intense. But it's not, this wasn't supposed to be like, oh, let's have these two hot girls kissing just to kiss. Like there's a reason for that scene. First time watching 10 out of 10, Needy is fucked up nickname. And I also think that speaks to the power that that Jennifer exerts over Needy and wanting to just always have her needing her. Needy needing Jennifer, giving Jennifer like just giving Jennifer again a sense of control and the fact that she called herself Needy too. Yeah. Wheat Potato, thank you for the 25 months. Tracy, thank you for the 14 months. Do you think she goes after guys Needy like because she let her get in the van and didn't do anything to stop the men? No, I don't think that's probably the first time that Jennifer has gone after a guy that Needy likes. I think you can read it as Jennifer is in love with Needy. She doesn't like Needy being with any of these boys because of her, just because of her intense, her intense need to have Needy, but also to be in control of her. She doesn't want to feel like she's losing Needy to one of these boys. Also, I think that's something too. I mean, I had a friend, my best friend in high school. There was this guy who really liked me. I did not like him, to be clear. This was not something that it was not expressed both ways. But this friend of mine who I no longer was friends with later on had nothing to do with this. This was just one piece of the like, oh, that's who this person is. She had a boyfriend too. She had a boyfriend. And she went after this guy. And one night, my other best friend and I, we had asked her to hang out. And she's like, oh, I can't. I'm sick. And we had a feeling she was hanging out with him. And we drove past the house and his car was there. Now, I do not think that she was in love with me. There was not that element there. I think that was a power thing. That was an insecurity thing. That was mean girl shit. And so it's not something so what I'm trying to say is like, I don't think this is just something where if you are queer that that you have like, that you do this shit as a teenage girl. I think it's just the complexity, the just female friendships, especially when you're that age, being complicated and weird, and there's like competition and can be a lot of cruelty and feeling the need to just be at the top. Going after the lead singers, her chasing power through the validation given to women based on what man desires them. And that can also be a queer woman thing where you don't pick men based on what you like, but what you think is expected of you. Yeah. I think Jennifer looks around and is like, okay, who's the best guy? And like, who's the hottest guy? Who's the guy who's like the coolest guy in the room? And then that's obviously who I'm going to go for. Didn't Needy say Jennifer was a bitch to her when they were younger? I mean, they go back to the sandbox. And I think the thing with them is that Jennifer was always the one in control. She was the one who dominated. She was the alpha. It was like whatever Jennifer says goes. and I think a lot of people can relate to kind of being being maybe the needy in a friendship where maybe the person you're friends with, like, you can't even believe you're friends with them. Oh, they're so pretty, they're so cool. I can't believe they'd be friends with someone like me. And it can turn into something toxic. You know, it can be a toxic relationship because of that power dynamic. Do you have a list of all the movies shown in film class? We do. We have a list somewhere. It's hard to let go of toxic friends, especially when you've been friends your whole life. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why the like ripping of the necklace at the end, I think was also significant, as Needy is not going to be needy for Jennifer anymore, where she's like, look, I'm done with your bullshit. I'm done being walked all over by you, being treated like this. I'm standing up for myself. Like, it wasn't just about Chip. It wasn't just that Jennifer killed Chip. I think it was Needy standing up for herself too. And that's something, it's crazy because my best friend in high school was one of the people that I watched this movie with for the first time, and that we would watch every single weekend. And when I finally told her, like, I'm not going to be friends with you anymore. You know, that was my moment of, you are toxic and you are cruel and your insecurities cause you to treat me and other people really poorly. And I'm not going to deal with it anymore. I went to college. I met other people. I was like, sometimes you just have to you have to be on the outside looking in. Did it end with murder too? Well, I can't say, obviously. I can't say. But all that to say, I think a lot of people can relate to that. Can relate to that aspect. The murder of a toxic friendship. Yes. The murder of a toxic friendship. Anyway. Yeah. I love this movie. I've seen it so many times. I really wish that the reception to it had been different when it came out. But alas, at least it's a film that in the years since has found its audience and has been appreciated in a way that it was not back in 2009. Is there anything you would change or have liked to have seen more of in this film? Yeah, probably not. I mean, it would be nice to have some characters of color who are not like token characters. Justice for Ahmet. Justice for Ahmet. But, you know, I think that's something I can say about a lot of my favorite films too. It's just one of those, like, that's a big component of most films is the lack of diversity or having diverse characters. Jennifer's a small town white girl, so she might be racist. I mean, I'm sure. I get it's like Devil's Kettle, you know, it's a small town, but I did notice nobody looking like me in the film. Yeah, I mean, it's not that I think every movie needs to have there's like a perfect amount of diversity. You know, I don't like the tokenizing, basically. I just, it's like when you have a lot of films I love where it's like, okay, they put a character of color in the film, but not really anything of substance. Ahmed has a way more tragic backstory to him, again, from that graphic novel. Poor Ahmet. 69% of chat voted that they would sacrifice themselves to make out with Jennifer. Only 69%. Well, first of all, nice. Nice. Only 69%. Okay. All right. But I think it's last thing I'll say is I think it's a good sign of progress that critical voices have gotten more diverse, and that the male audience, the male gaze, is not just the default. There are other voices who have entered the conversation to set the conversation. And so that means that stories like this one, films of this type of genre, are not just seen as designed for men. And so therefore, when they are not designed for men, they are not seen as failures for that reason. It's like, oh, you can actually measure this film. You can measure films on their own terms, whether or not they are satisfying the default gaze. There needs to be a balance between representation and making a checklist. Yeah, I agree with that. All right, y'all. I'm pretty tired. I'm pretty pooped. I'm gonna sign off. I've already watched this movie on stream too, so I don't know if that conversation is anywhere. Usually I'd stick around for more, but I am ready to call it a night, and I think that was a good way to end the stream. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for supporting the sponsor earlier, W Ghosts of Yote, W PlayStation. I hope that that was your first time seeing Jennifer's Body, that you had a good time, that you loved it. I'll always love that movie so much. We'll probably watch it again it'll probably be an annual viewing. Maybe that'll be our community's thing. It'll be an annual viewing, and maybe next time I won't get slapped with a sexual themes classification. I got the warning email. What happens though is that if you get too many warnings, they just lock your account. They lock your account, so there's like nothing I can do about it. It was my first watch, and it's a perfect October movie. Yeah, it's really a good one. I'm gonna send you guys over to Lord Spew. Maybe I'll see it fully in 2026. That's why we're gonna play it every year. So maybe you'll be able to have watched it one piece at a time, and 5 years from now, you'll finally have seen the whole thing. Yeah, I'm going to be locked into sexual themes category for everything I do. All my stream con is going to be like, oh, watch out, sexual themes. Sexual themes. Warning. Thank you. I've been waiting for a good time to see this movie. It's been on my list for a few years, but life has come in the way. I'm glad to have seen it in good company. Wonderful stuff. Yeah, it's great. I have to say, a movie like that is a movie I love to watch with this community. I love it. Jawbreaker, same thing. Like I know a lot of people in here are going to dig it, or are people who love movies like this as much as I do. So thank you all for being a great community to watch films like this in. Can you imagine like FaZe? The FaZe boys watching this in their community. L Jennifer. Oh, shit. I did the wrong Lord Spew. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Lord underscore Spew. L Demon. L Friend. And then the makeout scene being like, wait, we're so back. We're so back. W Chip. W Chip. L low shoulder. Or just L O shoulder. All right, y'all. I think I'll see you tomorrow. Pretty sure. Till then, peace. Take care of yourselves. Don't throw dog poop in a trash can. Don't throw dog poop in a trash can because you never know who's watching. And you never know who's going to record you and put you on a platform like Facebook. So just a little advice from me to you.